welcome to another workout with Core Moves. So today is an active stretch and recovery day, and we're going to do some really traditional Pilates. So the only thing with Pilates that you really want to try and maintain is thinking about your pelvic placement. So we talk about two positions of the pelvis. In Pilates, we talk about our neutral, which is when our hip bones and our pubic bones are stacked in the same plane. So if we're on our back, they're on the same horizontal plane. If we're stood, they're on the same vertical plane. We want to maintain this natural lordotic curve of the lower lumbar spine and keep the upper spine, the rib cage, and the scapula flush and maintain slight kyphosis, which is like an outward curve. So this is our neutral position. When we go into an imprinted or braced position, we're pulling the pubic bone forward and the rib cage down in order to flatten the curve of the lower lumbar spine. So I'm naturally a little bit lordotic, so it's hard for me to really get that tuck under, but you'll feel the difference when you're on your back, that you have this lengthening of your lower lumbar spine, and that just helps protect your lower back as you strengthen your abdominals. So really important to think about those two positions. We'll go through them during the practice today. The other thing you want to think about is your breath. So with your breath in Pilates, we focus on a three-dimensional resisted breath, and that just helps us engage our deep transversus muscles or our deep core. So it's in through the nose and out through the mouth using slightly resisted breath as though you're going to blow out a candle. Okay, so you want to, and for me it's hard for me to make it audible during the sessions because I'm trying to talk while I'm practicing, but for you, really try and focus on hearing your exhale breath and doing it through a pursed lip, and you will automatically get a little bit more resistance in your abdomen, in your pelvic floor, which will just engage those deeper core muscles a little bit more. With that said, let's get moving. So we're going to start with our feet hip distance apart. So remember, that's directly underneath your ASIS or underneath your sit bones. And then you're just going to soften your knees for a minute and check they're tracking over your toes. Check that they're parallel and straight. Pull the belly in and think about that neutral pelvic placement. So you can see my tail is tilted back and my belly is tilted forward right now. I'm just going to tuck that under a little bit until they're in the same plane. And then I'm just going to push up through the floor, contract my quad muscles, squeeze my glutes, and feel like there's a string being pulled through the middle of my body, all the way up through the crown of my head, lengthening me up. From there, I'm going to roll my shoulders back and let my hands relax and be heavy down by my sides. I'm going to lift my head, but keep my chin in a nice neutral plane. And we're just going to start to warm up the shoulders together with the knees a little bit. So you're going to softly bend the knees, then push into the heels, lift the hands up towards the ceiling, turn the palms forward and swim them out to the sides. Bend the knees, sweep them up, little circles, turn the palms forward. So let your hands change direction with the movement to allow the shoulder girdle to be really nice and comfortable through the movement. Don't forget to fully contract those quads as you stand tall. Reach those fingertips nice and wide. One more time this direction. Reach it up, palms forward and out to the side. Let's just stand tall in our neutral position and change direction. So we're going to turn the palms forward, sweep the arms up, overhead, palms face each other, bend the knees, bring the hands down by your waist, open it up. Try not to crowd your collarbone as you sweep those hands in towards the midline of your body. Really focus on drawing those quads up and finding length in the body and moving with your breath. Rotating through the shoulders. Last one, all the way up and hands down to your side. From here, we're going to roll down. So keeping that nice neutral hip distance position, you're going to keep your body stacked and then gently nod your chin like you're watching a traffic light change. And allow the weight of your head to slowly pull your spine forward one vertebrae at a time. Hug your belly button in and lift your pelvic floor. Keep your glutes contracted and maintain the weight over your ankles for as long as possible. And enjoy this nice stretch in the back. Then we're going to touch our knees and begin to bend the knees slightly as you lengthen the tail away and straighten the back. So we come into a hinged neutral position. From here, tuck your tail under, scoop your abdomen, roll through your spine, straighten the legs and lengthen all the way up. Relax those shoulders away from your ears until you're standing tall again. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, nod your chin, roll the spine forward, pull that navel in, lift the pelvic floor, round through the spine, bring your hands to your knees, bend your knees, inhale, lengthen the spine to a long neutral position. Exhale, tuck the tail under, scoop that belly right in and pull it back to the opposite side of the room. Straighten the knees and stack the spine back up. Roll the shoulders back, 1 vertebrae at a time. Inhale, nod the chin. Exhale, roll the spine forward. Pull that belly in. Find your glutes. Hands to the knees. Soften the knees as you inhale and lengthen that spine to that long neutral line. Exhale, tuck it under. Push the weight into the heels, contract the quads and the glutes, scoop the belly, roll those shoulders back and stand tall. This time we're going to come all the way down to the mat, so nod that chin, roll yourself down, let your hands just be heavy and take your time on this roll down. You'll reach this stage where your belly is active and your glutes are active, and then you're just going to soften and release all the way down, bringing your hands towards the floor. Let's just clasp our hands into our elbows, soften the knees a little bit and just gently sway side to side. Just loosening up that lower back a little bit. And then still the body in the middle, bring the hands towards the floor, bend the knees, walk the hands forward and bring the knees to the floor. So now we're going to just adjust yourself on the mat so that your knees are directly underneath your hips and your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. We're going to do that same flexion and extension, but we're going to add on, that same flexion to neutral, but we're going to add on extension. We're also going to think about what our shoulders are doing. So make sure your knees are directly under your hips, not back from the hips or in front of the hips, or you'll struggle to get into that nice neutral position. So adjust yourself, maybe have a look at your reflection, and then think about that long neutral spine from the back of your head all the way to your tailbone. Gently lift up on the pelvic floor, push the fingertips into the mat and spread the shoulders nice and wide without rounding the back. So when we round the back, we protract the scapula. When we drop the back, we retract the scapula. So right now we want to be in neutral. And we're just going to do 1 full Pilates breath in this neutral. So in through the nose, filling the lower lobes of the lungs, and exhale through that resisted breath. Drawing the belly up and in. Let's do that 1 more time. In through the nose, breathing into the back of the rib cage. Exhaling through the mouth. And now we're going to add the flexion and extension. Inhale through the nose and tilt the pelvis forward, lift the sternum, shine the heart, retract the scapula. Exhale through that mouth, tuck the tail under, pull the navel in, round through the spine and look between those knees. Inhaling, lengthening the spine while you expand that rib cage. Exhaling, lifting the pelvic floor, engaging the transversus and protracting the scapula. 1 more time, inhaling and exhaling. And then inhale into your neutral position. You're going to take 1 full breath, and then on your next inhale, we're going to slide the left foot back, slide the right hand forward, and lift up into our bird dog, maintaining that nice neutral pelvic position. And we're gently going to tap it down on our exhale and lift it back up for 1. Tap it down and lift for 2. Stretch that arm and that leg away from each other. Your leg is in parallel, your glute is active. Lift it up for 4. 2 more. Make sure that right hip is perpendicular to the floor. Last time, reach it up and tap it down and slide it in. Maintaining that neutral position. Let's move through 1 more cat-cow. Inhale, tilt the pelvis forward. Lengthen the spine. Exhale. And inhale back into neutral. Exhale, prepare the body. Inhale, slide the left hand forward, the right foot back, and float them up. Now, as you exhale, you're going to tap the floor and inhale to the left. Tap. and lift. So the glute is doing the work in the back of the leg. That pelvis is staying really nice and still. The head is long, pulled away from the ears, the back of the shoulder, floating that arm up. We've got 2 more here. Lifting, keeping that leg in parallel, keeping the left leg perpendicular to the floor, and then lower that hand and foot, slide them back in. Bring your toes together, push your hips towards your heels and stretch your hands forward. Look at your hands. From here, we're going to pull back into a shell pose. So it's like our child's pose, but you're going to round your back like you're scooping your abdominals right up to the ceiling and creating this turtle shell shape. And what this does is really stretches out that lower back, and then reach back forward, melt the belly to the thighs, drop the elbows, drop the head, and just rest for a minute. From here, we're going to come onto our belly, so just bring yourself up and then lie yourself down on your mat. Now, if you are a man or if you are sensitive in your pubic bone area, you might want to put 2 towels underneath both hip bones just to prop up your pubic bone a little bit so that you don't put too much weight or pressure on it. And then you're going to come down onto the mat and lengthen your whole body so it's really nice and comfortable. Turn your head to the right side. Have your forearms parallel with the edges of the mat and your fingertips in line with your eyebrows. We're just going to squeeze the right bum and lift the leg up off the floor a little bit and feel like somebody's stretching it away from your hip, and then gently lower it back down in parallel. So your kneecap is facing the floor. Then find the left bum cheek. Lift that left foot, feel like somebody's stretching it away from your hip, and pull it back down. And by doing that, you should have found that your belly button lightened away from the floor a little bit. And you're now in this neutral, slight posterior tilt, so slightly tucked under position. And there's a bit of space under your abdomen, like you've got a marshmallow under your belly button and you don't want to dent it. Now from here, we're going to wake up the upper thoracic spine. So we're just going to gently lift the head away from the floor and turn our nose so it hovers over the mat. Now feel like you pull your elbows back. They're not actually going to move, but you're going to feel like you pull your elbows back as you gently lift your chest and look at the edge of your mat. Exhale, lengthen back down and turn your head to the left side. Keep those glutes connected, keep reaching those toes away from the body. Inhale, pull those elbows back, rotate the head to look at the end of your mat. And exhale to turn to the right side. So keep that navel pulled away from the floor. Inhale, drawing those elbows down and back. And turn to the other side. So remember, your elbows aren't actually moving. It's a feeling in the shoulder blades, in the lats to wake up the muscles between the scapula, keep those glutes connected. Turn to the right. And again, lift off. And turn to the left. Now from here, we're going to reach our hands forward and turn our forehead so that our forehead rests on the mat. And reach your hands up overhead. Your pinky fingers are on the floor, your thumbs are facing the ceiling. Remember to keep squeezing those glutes. And as we inhale, we're going to push into our fingertips and slide them back just a little bit, pushing into the floor to lift our upper thoracic spine. So now the bottom of our rib cage is touching the mat. But don't let your belly collapse into the mat as you do this and go into your back. You really want to keep those glutes connected and the belly away from the floor. And you exhale to lower and stretch those hands forward again. Inhale, pull the shoulders down. So engage your lats and then push into the mat to lift up just a little bit. And exhale to come back down. We're going to do 3 more like that. Inhale, pull it back. Keep those legs in parallel. Keep pushing your big toes into the mat and pulling the belly away. And push it back. Your glutes are on fire here, okay? You're really working hard through the shoulders and through the bum. Your whole back line is working. And down, and then turn your palms towards the floor, slide your hands under your chest and push yourself back into your shell stretch. Remember, that's that rounding of the spine, stretching out that lower back. And then belly to the thighs, stretch those hands forward, push forward with your hips to come back down onto the mat again. Now this time we're going to laterally rotate those legs. So you can bring your hands folded on top of each other right underneath your nose, your chin, your chest, or sorry, your nose, your chin, your forehead. And then we're going to Pick up our right leg and then spin the toe out and the heel in and really find that glute and then tap it down so it comes to the outside corner of our mat. You're going to pick up the left leg, spin the heel in, toe out, open the leg slightly so it comes to the left corner of the mat. Oh, I got a little glute cramp there. Obviously my bum was working. Once those toes are connected, you're really going to push them into the floor, draw that belly away again, and leave your head resting in your hands. Now we're going to pick up our feet one at a time and then both together. So make sure the back of your neck is long, your upper body is relaxed, and we're going to just lift the right foot. And then tap it back down, lengthening onto the mat. Lift the left foot. And bring it back down. Lift the right foot. Keep that belly button away from the mat. Rib cage is being pulled towards your hips. One more time on the right. And one more time on the left. And now we're going to lift both legs together. Exhale, squeeze your glutes, lift both legs. They don't have to come up super high. We're just floating them off the floor and then lower down with control. So as I mentioned, you might want to pad your hip bones. If you feel any discomfort under your pubic bone, while you lift those legs again. And lower them down. Try and maintain that outward rotation at the hip as you lift those legs. And lower down. One more time, lift them up, and then you're going to bend your knees and bring your heels together, flex your toes away, and push your heels up into the floor, up into the ceiling, and hold them there for 5, 4, 3, keep pulling the navel away from the floor, 1, and lower those knees down, lower the feet down, slide those hands back, and push yourself back again into that shell stretch, rounding your back away from your thighs, making that turtle shell shape. And from here, we're going to roll up and we're going to flip ourselves around until we come seated. So our feet are going to be hip distance or have about 1 to 1.5 fists between our knees. And we're going to sit up nice and tall. If you struggle to sit up tall in a neutral position here, you may want to grab a block or a blanket or something that you can sit up tall on, just to make sure that you're nice and comfortable, you're not gripping in your hips. We're just going to put our hands on the front of our knees and use our inhale breath to lengthen our spine up. Push your big toes into the floor, draw your shoulders down and back, and feel that same thread being pulled through the middle of your body. Then as you exhale, you're going to begin to pull your pubic bone towards your nose, and your tail is going to tuck under between your legs. You're going to scoop your lower abdomen and rock back behind your sit bones. And look between your thighs. Don't look down at your belly button because you'll jam your chin into your chest. You want to look at that space right above the knees in the middle of your thighs. And we're just going to hold it here. And then we're going to inhale, float our hands up to chest height, lengthen the sternum, and look at our hands. So we're maintaining that flexion in the lower abdomen, and we're lifting and lengthening the chest. And we're going to start to rotate. So you can link your fingers together if you want, or just keep the fingertips touching in a wide, like you're hugging a beach ball. We're going to inhale, twist to the right, exhale to center. Inhale, twist to the left. Exhale to center. Keep your chin and your sternum and your fingertips in line with each other, and keep that connection in the legs. So feel like you're pushing your feet into the floor so that you don't lose the connection with the back of the legs and the glutes. Keep drawing the navel in and towards the spine and lifting up on that pelvic floor. And over to the right, and pull it in. And to the left, don't let the knees splay out to the side. One more time on each side for me. To the right, in, to the left, in, and then bring your hands to the floor. Just tap the floor and drop your elbows down and release your belly. You can just allow the pelvis to rock forward for a minute, just to stretch out that belly. From there, push your shoulders down into the mat and make a letter L with your hands and your thumb. And just hug it right in behind your glutes. And keeping this long neutral spine, we're just going to pick up our right leg to a tabletop position, a 90-degree bend. And then you're going to kick that toe up towards the ceiling, flex the ankle, and drag the heel down towards the floor, but don't let it touch the floor. So you're really using your bum to pull that leg down here. Then point the toe, drag it up that imaginary wall behind you. Flex and pull it down. Keep lengthening the pubic bone away from the sternum so that you stay in that neutral position. Your abdomen is working really hard here, while your quads lift the leg and your glutes lower the leg. Keep pushing those elbows into the mat to keep the shoulders away from the ears and pulling that navel in towards the spine. Point and lift, flex and lower. One more time for me. Don't let that left knee fall out to the side. Lift, flex and lower. Now point, lift, bend the knee into tabletop, and then place the foot down beside the other one. And relax your pelvis, relax your shoulders. So you can just relax for a minute here. Pilates is a lot harder than people think it's going to be because you really have to find that connection with your body and your breath and your core. It's all about the core. Okay, let's wake that body back up into the neutral position. So push the elbows into the floor, roll them down and back, tilt the pelvis forward so that your pubic bone and your hip bones are in the same plane. And then you're going to pick up that left leg. So this is like a quasi-kinetic chain, so we want to try and do this in our neutral, but if you're struggling with your lower back, by all means tuck your tail under into that imprinter braced position just to give your back a little bit more support. Otherwise, we want to keep that nice long neutral spine. We're going to inhale, reach the toe to the ceiling, exhale, flex the ankle and drag that heel down. Inhale, point, reach and lift, exhale, flex. And lower. Remember that Pilates breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Keep pushing your right foot into the mat to keep that engagement of the hamstring on the right leg. And then the quad is picking the foot up. The glute is dragging it down. Two more for me. Point and lift. Don't let your right leg fall out to the side. Exhale, lower. One more time. Point and lift. Keep that pelvic floor lifted. And lower. Point and lift. Bend the knee. Place it down in line with the other one. And you can relax for a minute. From here, we're going to slide our hips towards our feet and bring our back onto the mat. And we're going to continue to work on engaging that core together with the legs. So your hands are relaxed down by your side. And your thumbs are facing the ceiling, your pinkies are into the mat. We're going to tabletop our right leg. Now, if your abdominal muscles aren't strong enough, you really want to then move into your imprinted position. But if you think you can maintain a neutral without hurting your lower back or without letting your rib cage pop with both legs in the air, so this is an open kinetic chain, then by all means challenge that neutral. Otherwise, once you have one foot up, pull the rib cage down, plant that lower back into the mat, and then pick up the other leg, and that will just protect your back, okay? So whatever option you take, always make sure you have one foot on the floor as you adjust your pelvic position, okay? So my hand was up just to show you what we're doing with our pelvis. So right leg up, either imprint or stay in neutral, pull the rib cage down, lift the left leg up. Maintain hip distance between the knees. And then you're going to sweep your hands up to face the ceiling. Don't crowd them in towards the midline of the body. Keep them shoulder distance so your collarbone stays nice and wide here. And then we're just going to drop the left foot towards the floor as we reach the right hand overhead. Now notice my hand isn't coming to the floor. If I go to the floor, my rib cage is probably going to lift and I'm going to lose that neutral connection in my spine. So I'm only coming about 40 degrees. And then exhale back into center. Inhale, left hand, right foot, and exhale back into center. Don't let those hands start to come in towards each other. Maintain that shoulder distance and reach the left. So find that right glute to lower that right leg. Keep bracing the abdominals, pulling the rib cage towards the hips the whole time. And use that strong resisted breath to connect your pelvic floor and all of your abdominals. Last one with the right hand back. And last on the left. Now open your arms out to the sides in a T. Glue your inner thighs together like you're really trying to stick them together. Turn your palms so that they are on the floor. And we're just going to tilt the right knee over to the right hand, letting the left hip lift. Keep both shoulders on the ground and keep facing the ceiling. We're not dropping all the way over. We're just activating the obliques just a little bit. And then into center. Push both shoulders down and back. Tilt the pelvis over to the left side. And to center. Tilt to the right. And center. And to the left. And center. We're going to add on from there. You're going to tilt to the right. And then reach the legs long. And then bend the knee. And into center. Tilt to the left, push that right shoulder blade down into the ground. Keep that connection with the obliques. Straighten those legs, find the quads, point your toes. Bend your knees, use your hamstrings to bend those knees. And then back into center. 2 more, over to the right. Left shoulder down, reach and extend those legs. Bend them in. And into center. Over to the left. Reach. Bend it in. And center. 1 more time, over to the right. Extend those legs, point those toes, bend it in. Keep those knees and thighs glued together. And over to the left. And reach. You should feel a little bit of a nice massage in your bum as you roll across those glutes. And then hands come into the side. Let's lower our right foot, articulating toe ball heel. And the left foot, articulating toe ball heel. Slide those heels in nice and close to your bum. Again, keeping 1 fist or 1.5 fists between the knees. And we're going to come up into a glute bridge. So you can have your palms facing the floor, or if you know you tend to round your shoulders in, then turn your palms to face the ceiling. We're going to roll up into our bridge. So a bit different than when we do it with our athletics classes or our fit conditioning. We're going to tuck the tail, push that lower back into the mat. Pull the rib cage down towards the hips, and then using your exhale breath, push into your heels and peel your spine away from the floor, 1 vertebrae at a time. Take a deep inhale at the top, filling the back of the rib cage with the air from your lungs. And then exhale, push each vertebrae back into the floor like you're playing keys of a piano. 1 vertebrae at a time, passing through that lower lumbar spine and releasing back into your neutral. Now the tendency here is for the knees to wobble around a little bit. So if you're unable to control that, put a towel or a block or a cushion or a pillow between your knees, and that will just help to maintain that nice active engagement of your inner thighs. Let's do that again. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, push the lower back into the floor, pull the rib cage towards the hips. Lift the pelvic floor and begin to peel the spine away. Push into your heels. Find the back of the legs, the glutes. Stretch the front of the thighs. Soften the sternum. Inhale to hold at the top. And then exhale to melt the spine back into the mat. 1 vertebrae at a time. Keep those shoulders down on the ground. Release the glutes as you lengthen back to your neutral position. We're going to do 3 more like this. Let's move a bit faster. Inhale, exhale, pull the spine away from the mat. Inhale, fill the lungs. Exhale, roll it down. Inhale, release to neutral. Exhale, roll it up. Push your big toes, end your heels equally into the floor. Stretch those knees away from the sternum. Inhale to hold. Exhale, melt that sternum, melt the spine, massage each vertebrae, and release on your inhale to neutral. 1 more time, roll it up. Inhale to pause. Lift that pelvic floor. Keep those knees equal distance the whole time, and then just relax in your neutral. Good. From here, you're going to reach your right arm out to the side, and then drop your knees all the way to the floor and adjust your body on the right side of your body, lying comfortably on your mat. So you want to create 1 long line from your shoulder through the middle of the hip and down to your right ankle. Now, if you struggle to find your balance here, so basically your hips are perpendicular to the floor, your chest is perpendicular to the floor, but if you find you're rocking forward and backwards, then you've either lost your abs or you've lost your glutes. So what you can do is just gently bend that bottom knee so that your heel is still in line with the pubic bone, but the knee comes forward a little bit, and that will just help you with your balance. Otherwise, try and challenge yourself by keeping that bottom leg long and straight and lifting the bottom waistline away from the floor. So if you put your hand on your left hip and gently push that hip bone away, you'll notice that the bottom waistline just creates this natural curve on the mat. And then your head is either resting on your bicep, or if you want to, you can bring it up and cradle it in your head, or put a block or a pillow underneath. I recommend you keep it down on your bicep, but again, that's totally up to you. Keep the abdominal engaged, pull the pelvic floor in, and we're going to inhale, point the toe, and lift the left leg just slightly higher than hip height, so around shoulder height. Then we're going to flex the ankle and drag that foot down on our exhale. Inhale, point, and lift. Exhale, flex, and lower. So we're pointing the toe, lifting the foot up, maintaining parallel. Exhale, flexing the ankle into that dorsiflexion and closing it in. Find your inner thighs as you lower that leg. So you're squeezing that left thigh in towards the right. Last time, lift, flex, and lower. Now we're going to point the toe and lift, and keeping this length in the bottom waistline, we're going to lift the bottom leg to meet it. And then exhale, lower them both together. Point and lift the bottom, exhale, lower everything together. Lift, lift, and lower. So you're using the inner thigh of that right leg to squeeze up to meet the left. Lower together, last one. Lift, and lower. Pull both knees in for me for a minute, and then we're going to bring our head into our hand. So now you're maintaining this little bit less, or a little bit more than 90-degree angle at the hip, and a nice 90-degree angle at the knee. And your belly will drop a little bit more. There's not as much focus on that bottom waistline, but you do still want to be drawing the belly in and think about everything being braced in nice and strong. Now we're going to wake up our glute on that top leg. So you're going to push your feet together and open your knees. And you should feel this right down the outside of the glute and a little bit in that inner thigh groin muscle, okay? Exhale, squeeze it together like you're trying to make orange juice between your thighs. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. Keep pulling that belly in. You should find this muscular awareness in your body. You're pushing your feet together while you're drawing your knees apart, and then you're squeezing your knees together, lifting on the pelvic floor. 3 more for me. Open and close with control. Really don't allow the knee just to fall. You're resisting it. Think of all the muscles working really hard to close that clown. Last one. Open, squeezing the glutes. Exhale, inner thighs to close it in. Good job. We're going to flip on over to the other side. So just roll yourself over to the other side of your mat, or turn to face the other direction. And remember, first we're going to make ourselves nice and long on the mat. So your head is resting in your bicep, your sternum, your hip bone, and your ankle bone are in the same long line. Pull that bottom waistline away from the floor. Find your glutes to keep you perpendicular together with your core. And then point your toes and find that balance on your left side of your body. Waistline is long, both sides connected. Let's inhale, pick up that right leg so it's shoulder height. Now we're going to flex the ankle and drag that foot down, squeezing those inner thighs. Inhale, point and lift, finding the outside of the bum. Exhale, flex and squeeze. Inhale, point, lift, flex, and lower. Don't let your waistline change shape at all. Don't lose the glute on the bottom leg. Remember, that's your support. Your pelvic floor is pulled in, keeping you nice and controlled and stable. Pilates is all about that control and stability. Flex and lower. Good. We're going to do both legs now. So point and lift. Exhale, lift that bottom leg to meet the top and lower them down with control. Inhale, lift, lift. Exhale, lower with control. Inhale, lift, lift. Keep that waist as long as possible. Don't let it collapse into the mat. Lift as you lift that bottom leg. Let your inner thigh do the work, not your waistline. Your waist is keeping you stable and controlled. Lift your pelvic floor, no tension in your neck. Lift, last one. Lower it down, good job. Now bend your knees into that 90-degree angle, or greater than 90 and 90 at the knee. And lift your head up into your hand. So again, that waistline might drop a little bit, but keep pulling the belly in. Think about mentally activating your muscles. So squeeze your heels together and then use your glutes to open that hip. Really feel it on the outside and the inside of your thigh. And then exhale, close it in, squeezing your inner thighs. Inhale to lift. Exhale to close. Inhale, pulling the belly in for 3 and closing. So my legs are actually shaking with doing this, and my core is shaking because I'm mentally contracting all the muscles around my hip. And close it in. Last 2. Inhale to lift. Exhale to squeeze that orange between your thighs. And for 5, open. And close it back in. Good job. And we're just gonna come onto our backs now. So just roll yourself all the way over onto your back. And we're gonna challenge our abdominals before we finish up today. So, knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. Hands face the ceiling. I want you to find that nice neutral position so your pubic bone and your hip bones are in the same horizontal plane. And you're gonna sweep your hands up towards the ceiling. Palms face towards your feet, and the thumbs are as wide as your shoulders. Push your feet into the floor, slide your feet away a little bit so you get a bit of a long bend in the knee. And inhale, just start to sweep your hands along the ceiling, eye gaze follows. And as you exhale, feel like your hands are pulling you up and over towards your feet. Now maintain that neutral position, so don't let your lower back collapse into the floor. And we're just gonna lower and lift the hands, and we're going to challenge that breath. So we're going to inhale, exhale. Inhale, push your feet into the floor. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep lengthening your pubic bone away. Exhale, resisted breath, pelvic floor lifted. Inhale. Exhale, keep reaching your rib cage up towards the sky. You're lifting it up. Inhale, or your sternum, sorry. Exhale, keep lengthening the pubic bone away in neutral. Last one. Exhale. Now still it and lower your body down. We're going to pick up our right leg, and then you can move into your imprint or stay in neutral if you can manage that, and then pick up your left leg. Glue your thighs together. From here, we're going to do single leg extensions. So same thing, we're going to flex up, so we're looking towards our toes, and we're going to pull our right knee to 90 degrees while we extend the left. So your hands, you can just grab the knee, or you can reach your right hand to the outside of your right ankle. If that's too complicated, just touch your knee and then exhale, switch. Inhale, exhale, switch. Stay flexed up and switch. Keep those legs in parallel, knees facing the sky, no tension in the neck, flexing up from the belly. The last one on each side. Then both knees in and lower your head. Lower your feet one at a time. Fold your arms, your hands into your elbows, and reach the arms overhead and slide your legs away. Just stretch your belly out for a minute. And then bend the knees back in. Pull the ribcage down, arms back in line with the hips. We're going to do one last one here today, and it's going to be scissors. So we're going to stretch out the hamstrings. So from here, tabletop your right leg, pull your pelvis into neutral or maintain that imprint. Tabletop the left leg, and then you're going to kick both legs up towards the ceiling. Now don't worry if your legs are down here. If you can't get your legs up towards the ceiling with a straight knee, you can maintain a slightly bent knee. But our goal here is to stretch the hamstrings a little bit. So as you scissor your legs, you don't want your bottom leg to go lower than your top leg can come in, if that makes sense. So don't drop your bottom leg all the way to the floor if your top leg is here. If you can come to 90 or greater in the top leg to stretch that hamstring, then by all means the bottom leg can go lower. But we want to keep an equal angle on both legs as we scissor, okay? So legs up to the ceiling, inhale, exhale, flex the torso up and reach the hands up towards your calf muscles, your ankles, wherever you can, your knees, wherever you get to. Then we're going to slowly lower the left leg away as we pull the right leg in. So see, we're stretching that right hamstring. Reach that left toe away. Inhale, exhale, switch. Staying flexed up. Inhale. So nice slow inhale as you pause and stretch. Slow exhale as you switch legs. Pulling that belly in. Enjoying a deeper stretch with every scissor. Don't jam the chin into the chest. Lifting up, using your abdomen. And last one on each leg. Pull the right leg in. And then the left. Both legs up to the ceiling, bend the knees, lower the head, lower the right foot, lower the left foot. Now from here, we're going to bring our feet together and slide the feet away from the hips so we've got a long bend in the knees. Then you find your glutes, pull the belly in and drop the knees out to form a wide diamond shape. Okay, so your weight now is on the outside sole of your foot and heel. Lengthen the body in neutral, roll the shoulders down and back and open hands out slightly away from the hips. And then as you exhale, push into those feet and lift the hips just 2 inches off the floor and hold. 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. So we're lifting up in one piece. We're finding our hamstrings together with our glutes. Lift the pelvic floor. Inhale, exhale, lift the hips. 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Keep that chest soft. Don't crowd in the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Pelvic floor, glutes, hamstrings, chest is soft. 1, and lower. 2 more for me. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Pelvic floor. 3, 2, 1, and lower. And last one, keeping that glute connection. Push those feet into the floor, lift the hips, relax the sternum. 2, 1, and lower. Close the knees, pull your knees into your chest, and hug them in. From there, we're just going to roll over to the left side and open the right knee back towards the left foot and bring yourself up to seated. So you should be in your mermaid seated position now. And you really want to try and push that right hip down onto the floor. So your left sole of your foot is in line with your right inner thigh. Your right foot is back towards your right hip. We're sat up nice and tall. Hands come out to the side. We're going to inhale, sweep that right hand up overhead and gently bend towards that left knee. Inhale, lengthen up and lower the hand. Inhale, left, exhale, flex up and over. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, lower the hand. Let's swap those feet over. So your right sole is in line with your left thigh. Your left heel is in line with your right hip. Left hip, push that left hip down so that your pelvis is square and level. Hands out to the side. We're going to flex over to the right knee first. So inhale, sweep up that left hand. Exhale, reach up and over. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to lower the hand. Sweep up the right hand. Exhale, over. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale to lower. And you guys are done. I hope you enjoyed that today. Really quite a introductory, traditional Pilates. fantastic for strengthening the core and the glutes in order to give you a really safe and stable spine and scapular placement. So I hope you enjoyed that. I did, and we'll see you again.